A while ago, I'd asked myself, and I'll bet there are probably some of you asking yourselves, if we need a classic controller to play Virtual Console games. It has been said that you do not need a classic controller unless you intend to play Virtual Console games. However, if you have a GameCube, depending on the game, more than likely you won't even need a classic controller. And I've got a chart up here, and I'll show you the chart. Well, I won't show it to you, but I will give you a link to it. Only because I'm using the new iMovie 08 to record this, and they won't allow editing, and I don't want to go into iMovie HD to bother with editing, because transferring it over to YouTube is one of the pluses of iMovie 08. Makes it quick and fast. Anyway, that's off the topic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go by system. So, Wii Games. Wii controller, yes. Classic controller, yes. GameCube, yes. Wii Games, naturally, use the primary method of control, the Wii Remote. Few games may allow traditional control schemes, such as the GameCube controller. Now that was sort of a preview, and also we covered our first benchmark, which was the Wii Games. That's how it's going to go. It's going to go Wii, Classic, GameCube, and then some information as to the technical nitty-gritty behind it, as to what will work and what will not work. Surprisingly enough, as far as GameCube controller goes, one of the games that I know of that will work with all three, giving you a really nice variety, so that not everybody has to have a Wii Remote, excuse me, is Mario Kart Wii. That apparently allows for all three types. Was it all three types? Now I'm confused. It was either the Wii Wheel, the classic the Wii Remote, the Wii Wheel, the classic controller, and the GameCube controller, or the Wii Wheel, the remote, or the GameCube controller. But that's just an example of where a GameCube controller on a Wii game might be used. Nintendo Entertainment System. Back to the chart. Nintendo Entertainment System. Wii Remote, yes. Classic controller, yes. GameCube controller, yes. Limited to only 2 action buttons. Either of the 3 controllers may be used for NES games. Now here's where we start getting a little bit finicky. Super NES, Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Wii Remote, no. Classic controller, yes. GameCube controller, yes. The Super NES 4 action and 2 shoulder buttons require either a classic controller or a GameCube controller. N64, Wii Remote, no. Classic controller, yes. GameCube controller, yes. The more complicated control scheme of the N64 requires mapping to the classic controller or the GameCube controller. GameCube, no for the Wii Remote, no for the classic controller, and obviously yes for the GameCube controller. GameCube games can only be played using the GameCube controller, which will, for now, still remain in the shops. Now, what that means is, I don't know when this was published, but this might be a little bit outdated in terms of availability. So if you want to get a GameCube controller, I would recommend, you could try Circuit City, because I was there I remember being there a while back and they still had them. Get them while you still can, and if you can't get them new, you could try getting them used either on eBay or through GameStop or EBs or something like that. And finally, and this is the most interesting, third party, which is the TurboGrafx 16 and the Sega Genesis. For the Wii Remote, you have partial control. For the classic controller, you do have complete control. And for the GameCube controller, it's partial control. And here's why. All Virtual Console games can be played on the classic controller. Other compatibility differs according to a game. So I don't know if that will determine, if you can take a look at the control scheme before you purchase a game. You might be able to. I have yet to see the Virtual Console in action. So, you know, I guess I'll have to see. I thought this was an interesting little caption down here at the bottom, so I'll just read this. We like simple, we like easy, and this chart is simple and easy. A one-stop graphic to answer all those Wii controller questions. Feel free to follow the link, print this puppy out, and keep it near your Wii for future reference. Now, if only the white font were easier to read. That is going to be the one objective you're going to have issues with. Like I said earlier in the video, I was having some... Or, actually, this is my third take with this, and in a previous take I was saying that the white text was a little bit hard to read. I can barely make it out. So, you know, I would recommend maybe taking this chart and transferring it to Excel. I mean, I know it's a graphic, but taking what's on here and just manually typing it into Excel or something. Anyway, like I said, I will provide the link for you in the video description, and that should answer your question as to whether or not the Wii's classic controller is needed for games. And as you can see from the chart, it depends on the game, but for the most part, if you have a GameCube, the answer is no. One more thing I wanted to note, and this is just about my videos in general. For the most part, they're verbatim. They're pretty much impromptu. They are non-scripted. I have an idea of what I'm going to do, and I have an idea of how I want to set things in order. But I do not have a script word for word unless I'm going to do something very specific, which is why you see all the bloopers. Some people might like them, some people might not, but that might answer your question. As far as the topic of the video concerning the classic controller, the need for it, input is welcome. I definitely welcome your input, your experiences, but anything against me will have your name blocked and your comment erased. Just a little heads up. And if anybody has any questions on my glasses, take a look at the video. No glasses equals how much vision, and that should give you an idea of why I wear these. Thank you for watching. Once again, your comments are welcome. All negatives will be deleted and blocked. Have a nice evening.